So, Suge Knight is back causing drama, and this time he went on a live interview with Chris Cuomo, calling out everyone from Jay-Z and Dr. Dre to Snoop Dogg for keeping quiet about the allegations against Diddy. It seems like Suge has a special grudge against Snoop, accusing him of setting him up and turning his back on death row. Suge claims that all these people knew about Diddy's shady activities all along and either looked the other way or helped him out. And when it comes to Snoop Dogg, Suge says he still has a lot to explain about Tupac's death. Suge's definitely stirring the pot here, but the question is he just being messy, or is there some truth to what he's saying about Snoop and the rest?
It's called the boiled egg test. If you take a boiled egg, a raw boiled egg, and have those guys put their pants down and bend over and they stick it up their ass. I don't care if it's T.I., I don't care if it's Rick Ross, I don't care if it's Jay, I don't care if it's Snoop, I don't care if it's Game, I don't care if it's Dre. Nobody's stepping up.
In the same interview, Suge didn't just throw shade, he threw the whole tree. He dropped a bombshell claiming Diddy isn't the only one in the industry putting young artists in humiliating situations behind closed doors. According to him, this kind of stuff has been happening in the music industry for decades.
And at the same time, Puffy didn't react or get where he got or doing those things or those allegations by himself. He was taught from people before him, and he did it to the younger people after him. And we can talk all day and say what's true, what's not true. But the truth part about it is videos, conversations, and people can see what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
But for it being happy and proud and say, what do people think?
Then Cuomo asked Suge if he thought Diddy was like a black Epstein and if that's why so many celebrities who used to be close to him were suddenly silent. Suge didn't hold back. He started naming names and said some of the big players in the music industry, including Diddy's old mentors, were the ones who taught Diddy how to run his whole operation.
Well, you got to start with at the top. You're starting with the top. Clyde Davis, Russell Simmons, Andre Harrell, Jimmy Iovine. Even if you take Jimmy Iovine, he had an allegation from him, same thing, he went away. You take Jimmy Iovine. They told me at Universal and Interscope, they said, you know what? We can't deal with artists that gets in trouble. And your artist gets in trouble, they talk crazy. Let's think about what they see. Now, I was told that I can't do business there because of that.
Suge also touched on some disturbing claims about tapes and a weird boiled egg test that these industry guys used to do to young artists as part of their so-called initiation for the freak-offs.
They never played this joke with me. And they used to walk in the Interscope office. They'll go back there and they'll be like, hey, we passed the test. I said, we haven't did the test. One dude said, well, don't say that in front of Mr. Knight because he's going to take it offensive and hurt somebody. I said, well, whatever it is, I probably will take it offensive when somebody will get their ass whooped. You know, that was me in those days. They used to have these guys, they used to call it the boiled egg test. They used to take a boiled egg, a raw boiled egg, and have those guys put their pants down and bend over and they stick it up their ass. The eggs break, they say they're not ready yet. They ain't put enough work in. This is Hollywood. So everybody want to go act like they don't know what's going on.
Hold on a second, Suge.
You just look. That's all you got to do.
And he didn't stop there. He named rappers from Jay-Z to Snoop, saying they all knew what Diddy was up to, which is why they're keeping quiet now. Suge is trying to shift the focus to people above Diddy, saying this whole mess didn't start with him and won't end with him either.
I don't care if it's T.I., I don't care if it's Rick Ross, I don't care if it's Jay, I don't care if it's Snoop, I don't care if it's Game, I don't care if it's Dre. Nobody's stepping up on the fact that you know what's going on.
And right before ending the interview with Cuomo, the host suggested that Diddy might be in danger. We know that nasty things can happen once you're inside. Suge gave Puffy some advice on how to stay safe and survive. He knows jail, and Puffy will know soon, too.
Well, the first advice I have, I don't ever want to say he's in danger, and neither should he say that. Because once he gets to the point where they feel he's going to be suicidal to himself, harmful to himself, once they put him on suicide watch, you have the rights to nothing. No socks, no drawers, no T-shirt, no blanket, no sheets. You asshole naked in a cell as a crazy man. So he definitely don't want to do that. And the other advice I would tell him, you know, maybe he should get on the Jewish diet. Because the kosher meals is way better than the food somebody else is making for you. At least they're going to come hot. They're going to come sealed, and you got to be the one to open them.
Now, Suge might not be the most trustworthy source, but he could be onto something. It's clear Diddy had to learn from someone. After all, he was just 24 when he launched Bad Boy Records, fresh off being fired from Uptown by Andre Harrell. Back then, Diddy didn't have the money or power to pull off something like that alone. And those who helped him build his empire, well, there's a price to be paid for everything. The community thinks that Suge was trying to paint a bigger picture with his interview. This is an industry-level phenomenon that has to stop. Bottom line, he's saying this is bigger than Diddy. Diddy is a small fish in a large pond. And another comment said, he's not specifically talking about Diddy. He's trying to get the media to focus on those above Diddy. Now, speaking of the industry, Suge had a lot of interesting and previously unknown things to say about someone who used to work with him in the music biz, Snoop Dogg. Believe it or not, Suge recently made some wild accusations about Snoop's possible role in Tupac's murder. During a recent episode of his prison podcast, Collect Call with Suge Knight, Suge started questioning Snoop's rumored involvement in Pac's death, saying that Snoop has a lot of explaining to do, especially about what really happened during Tupac's final days. Suge even hinted that Snoop Dogg might have been playing both sides back then, and it's suspicious how quiet Snoop was for someone who was supposed to be Tupac's friend. Suge made it sound like Snoop could have been involved in something shady, especially considering the tension between Snoop and Pac in the months leading up to Tupac's murder. Remember how Snoop was distancing himself from the whole death row drama at the time? Suge suggested Snoop was pulling some strings behind the scenes, but it doesn't stop there. Suge said he actually wants to have a real heart-to-heart with Snoop because they still have some unfinished business.
Face-to-face is going to be a lot of explaining to do.
And let's not forget that Suge has been dropping hints for years that certain people on the West Coast weren't as loyal to Tupac as they claimed to be. But Suge didn't stop there. He reminded everyone that he's known Snoop for years and even brought up how he was the one who put up the money for Snoop's bail back in the day. Suge is basically saying that Snoop owes him big time, and now it seems like he's throwing that back in Snoop's face, implying that Snoop turned his back on him after everything Suge did for him. Then, Suge brought up something Warren G recently mentioned on Drink Champs. According to Warren, on the night Tupac was killed in '96, he convinced Snoop to stay in LA instead of going to Vegas with Pac and Suge. Warren spilled the details about that night, revealing that Snoop had originally planned to head to Vegas for the Mike Tyson versus Bruce Seldon fight on September 7th, 1996. But at the last minute, Warren talked Snoop into hanging out in LA instead.
Having a good time. We was hanging out, you know, some females and shit around. They was hanging out, everybody chilling and just having a good time, you know, just, and then he got a, you know, just like a gang of homies, gang of homegirls, and then it's like, then he had this the Nextel back then. Remember the motherfucker?
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of Nextel he had, but he had the motherfucker could go that whatever it was hitting him all the way from what was going on from Vegas. So they was like, we could hear the shit, and then he started getting calls and shit, and they was telling him that Tupac got shot and this, that, and this. So Snoop, I kicked everybody out. Get the fuck out of here, everybody. Get out of here. And then he took off. That's when he went to Vegas to go see him, to get out there to see what was going on. And that's when he went out there when he went to the hospital. But if I wouldn't have talked to him and got him to come over to my house, he probably would have been right there in the car with them.
Warren said something that really caught Suge's attention. He revealed that he and Snoop found out about Tupac getting shot through a live update on a Nextel walkie-talkie while they were chilling at Warren's place in LA. Suge thought it was super suspicious that Snoop even had a walkie-talkie on him at that moment, right when the news broke about Tupac getting shot.
He was on there talking whatever shit they be doing out there, and he said that Snoop had a radio. He was at Snoop house when the shit happened.
So basically, Suge is implying that Snoop might have had some inside info about the hit on Pac and knew what was gonna happen that night. Suge also revealed that Snoop actually warned Daz not to go to Vegas on the night of September 7th, 1996, the same night Tupac got shot. Suge called out Snoop for lying about his hospital visit after Tupac was shot too. Snoop has always said that he got kicked out of the hospital while trying to see Pac, but according to Suge, that never happened. He says Snoop never even showed up at the hospital. Not once. Some people online started connecting the dots and they believe that Snoop might actually be an inside guy. Snoop's gotta be the informant. Anyone notice how much play he's getting in Hollywood? Commercial for various random products carrying the Olympic torch? Come on. And another person said, Snoop is two-faced. Keep your eye on him. It looks like Snoop Dogg might not be the person who we made him to be. With all these claims coming in from Suge, the situation just keeps getting messier. Is Suge really onto something with Snoop's role in Tupac's murder, or is this just more of Suge stirring up drama? What do you think? Was Snoop involved, or is Suge just out for revenge? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to to check out our next video for even more updates on the wild stories coming out of hip-hop.